The truth be known, we don't have words for love enough to understand the capacity for wholeness to have many go-rounds of gift through secular and non-secular manners of expressing itself. Even the secular, it seems to be divided away. And the need to have divisions is in support, a better word is actually in the supply of coming into understanding of the complex purpose of the all. Nothing is singular, yet all is held within one giant awareness.
So the complex purpose, that I would say that, if I heard that correctly, that it's more that there is a complex appearance, but and that the purpose, the word purpose, is what we see in all this complexity, and the purposeful nature that is really undivided. It is really
not dividable, right?
Right.
Not dividable. It's all in association, so that there's nothing that stands alone, right?
And so we feel the complex purpose, but really the paradox that is so disruptive to the human mind is that we live in that complexity, and we live in the figuring out of all the individuation and little twists and turns that are trying to come into greater knowing. But in that greater knowing is no complexity. It's just a flow, just like a river is one movement.
It isn't seen in the same manner we see it when we're individuating and pointing out and saying, oh my goodness, this is so complicated. When we're seeing in the all connectivities and as I said, the associations of the before to the new that's arising, to the making this full of the old currents of association so that something starts to happen through that. But it is so complex, we have no capacity to single-mindedly target anything as the it of all the its. So it is helped by owning that there is a start point, the seat of all cause that begins all associative presencings of the complement of now, which is the before. It begins, it's a very strange thing. The now needs the complement of what causes, and that's the Father.
Otherwise, nothing would be here.
Yeah, so within that association of now to the before, called God, Father.
The Son.
Yeah, the Son, what just a minute. And it's sort of a mutation of many words together. It's not a composite only, but it is the produce of all kindness, all that links. Kindness, again, we'll say for the visitor, actually comes from kindred, kin. It's all kin. All is of the one that shall be kin in all that associations continue. The Son is what calls all to be in the realm of manifest design, and that manifest design is constantly, it's not unlike a chromosome, it's constantly in division of labors to make sure that there is a constant refreshment. And for that to happen, there must be an abiding presence we call spirit. It just brings it all into responsiveness in all who are in communion.
Mhm. So that's almost like because the Father is this, almost like this field that supports the division of creation that manifests into the Son, but then the Holy Spirit is like the water that continues to give freshness and revitalization to
Or
that,
the fire.
or the fire, right? Or
It's
or
still of the causative verb. All
uh-huh.
of these are causative, though.
So it's more like the stars in the sky.
It's what fills everything up with the need to be in association.
So like gravity.
It's the spirit that moves us. It's the spirit that makes us win or lose in our perspective. It's the spirit that makes us reason. It's the spirit that makes us look into things. It's the spirit that calls us to learn about associations.
Mm-hmm.
It's the spirit that makes it so that we thrive.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at it, when we try and name it, the only name that we've found appropriate is the spirit, because otherwise you're going to run into all these ideas of gravity, fire, water, stars, but it's all that's the form that the spirit is manifesting as, or that the spirit influences. And so we can't call the spirit gravity or water or fire, because the spirit is the divine.
Yeah, what do you call it? the divine power to move about.
But we do try to describe it through physics, and we have names for all its different kind of
Spirit is the
aspects.
Physics.
Yeah, right. It is the unified.
Yeah, that's actually the physics. The spirit is the energy that causes retainment of what we've learned, as well as sense of premonition of what is to be. Without the spirit, there is nothing. It's just endless. One, the spirit is what thrives.
So is the sun even real?
Yes, you're the sun, I'm the sun, but not as humans. It's what was caused, like code, to make associations ponderable, findable.
So like consciousness, kind of.
Yes, kind of. It's
Right.
not the
There's so much
consciousness
meaning. Yeah.
and the spirit, and all three together are what opens our understanding of wholeness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Opens understanding of wholeness. All three together.
Only when together.
So
Because
the
it is
sun,
one, three in one.
just like you said, word is an instrument. The sun is that same instrument to be opened into understanding. But that opening, the light that is seen, is what is seen is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The sun is being said as that which gives the creed of true purpose to our union, makes it so that we know one another. First as birthed for good, It only calls us to associate. And to associate already is indicating it must be good. The association has use. It is what causes the abundance to work within the all wellness.
So then, is Satan an illusion? Is entropy, as we understand it, meaning a nature of destruction, is that an illusion because in truth it is part of the good nature, or a misrepresentation?
That's quite a powerful talk. So the simple is not obvious. Simple is God causes contradictions to better enable change. Not change of the one, but change of that which had been bold enough to seek to find the individual son I am. And in saying this, if we take the word contradiction, it just means against the origin word. It's something made of before rather than of now. And the before is sent out to retain what had been, and that becomes individual recollection of our history and our map of how to succeed and work on successes instead of knowing our union and our association with the all. The reason for the bedevilment is insincere in our language. It doesn't have an appearance that is warranted because it's in each to know that the demon that contradicts its union nature knows it is doing so and is already bent on leaving that finally, but it has caused
Well, it has to
another side of itself to dwell within, as I said, the before. It's a fantasy place.
right, because otherwise it wouldn't, the understanding wouldn't continue, because it's that very unwillingness, or that very the demon that remains, the continual image of an idea of the devil. It's in the nature of beingness, the nature of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, to have that be the contradiction, the thing that continues to reinform and remember individuals who find themselves in communion. And the only way you find yourself is in communion is because there is that contradiction, so that we can come to know in a more informed way.
I'm employing your words. Before we know how to be in the new now, we have to realize we are bent. We are not as the light shaft of the one, the radiance that implores nothing, it just is. The before that casts its own brightness of maker energy, it casts about and perceives and uses perception as a quality of energy that is akin to making a light bulb so we can walk in the dark. But what I'm really trying on is none of this is seductive when we realize it's the before. There's no interest in going where we've been before. Not really. We may pick up a tradesman's gift, secrets, but we're translating it into now how do I move that wood well? So we bring it to the now. The before, as was said at the beginning, is built into the cause that includes what is good to use today.
Right.
And if we stay nude of trying to just surface and find the gifts to suit ourselves, we'll stay in the moment very cleanly.
Mm-hmm. And that's where true humor seems to, there's a funny little dance like on the top of boiling water where it's almost like you're floating above the water, but you can go down and get zapped by these little bubbles that are in a sense exciting, and you can joke about it because there's this potential death right below you, but in your true nature you're floating right above it, but you have the choice to go down and play, but only when only when we know, like you said, we know we're bent, does that become a non-threatening.
That's a danger signal, though. That indicates the balance that lets us actuate the demon. It actually lets us choose not good, just to explore, not good. And that's very dangerous. That's moving into the death level. And many get seduced at that when they're waking up.
Right. That seems to be where seduction lies.
Makes sense to me.
And so then what you're pointing to then is to not have the apparent good be informed by the hot steam below us, but to actually rise into a grounded, or fall back into a grounded, connected nature that is being informed by a bigger rhythm.
Well, what I do makes all of that error flatten out.
Right.
I just check in where the associations of the new and the good bring together what the act is to be, and find out if there's a reason to go get burned there, or to see if I actually have the capacity yet to abide as that I am when there's scalding about to happen, or when there is a devil in the shop instead of a man.
Mm-hmm.
I find out, am I intended or not? And the I changes to this isness we call the sons, the father-son complication that helps another who has erred notice what is the potential when we're letting the inner gaze direct us. There's a lot of meaning in those sentences.
Yeah. Because so what you just said was that there is this, if I understood it correctly, the inner gaze is cut off from unity consciousness, the being focused on the, well,
right, when we choose by ourselves, right?
Yes. And so the gaze that allows for unity consciousness to be free flowing through us includes, and this is what, to me, this is where my awakening came from, or awakenings, or constant connection back to love, is noticing the state of awareness that is undoubtable, that is undoubtfully who and what my truth is. And then coming into that and going, wow. And then boom, even transcending wow and just becoming that.
Yes.
And then you
Receiving.
then reflecting and going wow when you reflect, and then all of a sudden that wow becomes part of what I feel like is now my past. So now I can use that new association as something to gnaw on, to to speak to speak from, when in what is really wanting to come through is the greater letting go of that past and existing in union with the now.
What we're doing, the way you're talking, it's a recipe for helping the brain go into union dance with all the associations, as above, so below, what is below brought to the above. And the mind is now a composite of interest for this level and that level. It's sort of a go-between for a little while. It's learning how to see to that without getting trapped.
Mm-hmm. And it's having each other to, because it's so hard to really come into that on our own, like, because so many people that we are surrounded by, we feel the need to communicate in a common language, and so it makes it really hard to stay in that sense of unity consciousness when the people that we are communicating with, I mean, I don't know where to how to describe that relationship. I don't know how to describe that, what's going on there.
And that's another longer conversation, because there's a balance between stillness and communing in our language. But if the stillness precedes and the caring of our association precedes, then we'll wait, as I watch you often do. We'll wait to notice where words have reason and a gift of more coming into partnership with the people we're associating with. The reason it's long is because we also always will find out it's rare to fully meet. The gap needs love for the meeting, and it needs non-judgment for the meeting, and it needs clarification as we're speaking, so we understand what's tuning each other, and it needs ongoing certainty that this is God moving us in ways we have no sense.
Yeah.
Coming through, we don't even have a sense of how long or whether to continue, or whether there's anyone actually to do anything with or for. It's more almost an embarrassing time of not knowing much of anything. When we truly are in association, our words fail us. As you've noticed, I just stopped at senses. It's a descriptive, that stopping of us, and that's the spirit coming through. See, words are beyond us right now. We're not to go to before to find them. They can only be called forth by the wholeness of us.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated by what's it going to take, or what does it take for not just us, but humans to open up into this knowing, because it seems like the mass amounts of information that is here is allowing for all these different judgments and associations and expectations and desires to exist. And it's so hard to let go of the mind and just to relax out of that and to find non-judgment and to find stillness, because so much of the youth's experience is informed by the media and school and
Yes,
all
it's
this
the
stuff.
entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah,
As your puppy wants to be entertained or fed.
right.
Entertain me, amuse me, pet me, give me food.
And so what can we say is,
Well, see it as it is.
yeah,
We want entertainment. We want to feel. We want to be in association with our own complexity. And we want to make sure that we find ways to feel like we are somebody. So we look for others to be around us. We want to feel like we are real. It's very much the Pinocchio kind of fairy tale.
I'm a real boy.
So we're going to pause because we're leaving the original subject, and there are dinners to prepare soon. And it's a very long answer. It's a really long answer. Or it would have been figured out that we're just caught by spells.
But that's what we are finding, is that it is when we really drop in, that's what it feels like. And and there has to be enough clear-sightedness to say, yes, this is where I can sustain a sense and experience of divine flow of creation that is of me in a much grander sense. And then it goes, and we go, wow. And then it's just learning how to become more and more used or merged with that.
Merge with the flow of true. It's almost a pluperfect, true presenting of one's intelligence to whole solution, to real solution. And just having it so fun that even when we stumble on trying to find what that is, it's still interesting. It's more interesting than other possibilities had been. They got a little bit dull and boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have hope that this can be a nice source of entertainment that will blossom into stellar knowingness.
I'm just noticing what is on the wall behind me is a combination of outside light and inside what man has made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looks like you're in a modern cave.
Right on. Right on. Well, I will pause our YouTube at this point. Ooh, hello, that's a different one.